The universe is full of mysteries, but some mysteries are not loud. They do not explode. They do not burn. They do not scream across space in gamma rays or tear stars apart with gravity. Some mysteries are silent, and deep in the direction of the constellation Boötes, the universe goes almost silent. There lies one of the largest known empty regions in the cosmos, the Boötes Void. A vast, nearly spherical expanse hundreds of millions of light-years across where the cosmic web seems to thin out, fade, and almost vanish. From a distance, the universe looks like a living structure. Galaxies gather into clusters, clusters stretch into filaments, filaments connect into a glowing cosmic web, and between those luminous threads are voids, enormous regions where matter is scarce, galaxies are rare, and gravity has left behind vast pockets of darkness. Voids are not mistakes. They are part of the universe's architecture. But the Boötes Void is different. It is not just an empty neighborhood. It is one of the great silences in the cosmic web. A region so large and so underpopulated that when astronomers first found it, it looked less like ordinary empty space and more like a wound in the structure of the universe. If you could fly into it, the night would change. The sky would not be crowded with distant galaxies. The great glowing cities of stars that normally surround cosmic structures would fall away. The universe would become darker, quieter, lonelier, and the deeper you traveled, the more disturbing it would feel. Because the Boötes Void is not completely empty, that is what makes it stranger. It is not a clean hole punched through reality. It is a vast underdense region where galaxies still exist, but only in tiny numbers compared with what we would expect from a region this large. A volume like this should contain thousands of galaxies. Instead, astronomers have found only a few dozen. Roughly 60 known galaxies are scattered through this enormous cosmic desert, many of them arranged along a thin, tube-like structure running through the void. That is the real horror. Not absolute nothingness, but almost nothingness. Enough matter to prove the void is real, not enough to make it feel normal. If the Milky Way were located near the center of the Boötes Void, humanity's view of the universe would have been completely different. For most of history, our telescopes might have seen almost no other galaxies at all. The night sky beyond the Milky Way would have looked nearly empty. We might not have discovered that galaxies were common across the cosmos until much later in human history. Imagine that, an entire civilization growing up inside a cosmic dead zone. A species looking out into the dark and concluding for generations that it was almost alone. This is why the Boötes Void feels so terrifying. It does not need monsters. It does not need explosions. It does not need black holes devouring stars. Its terror is simpler than that. It is the possibility of cosmic isolation. But how does a void this enormous form? To understand that, we have to go back to the early universe. After the Big Bang, the cosmos was not perfectly smooth. Tiny density differences were already present in the young universe, microscopic unevenness that later grew under the pull of gravity. Where matter was slightly denser, gravity pulled more matter in. Those regions became galaxies, then clusters, then superclusters. Where matter was slightly less dense, gravity drained material away. Those regions became voids. Over billions of years, the rich got richer. The dense regions became denser. The empty regions became emptier. The universe organized itself into a web of light and darkness. But the Boötes Void is so large that it raises a disturbing possibility. It may not have formed as a single empty region. It may be the scar left behind by several smaller voids merging together over cosmic time. Imagine bubbles in deep water rising and colliding. At first, they are separate. Then their walls touch. Then the boundaries collapse. And what remains is one much larger bubble. Something similar may have happened in the cosmic web. Smaller voids expanded, their edges met, their internal boundaries weakened, and over billions of years they may have merged into the enormous emptiness we now call the Boötes Void. If that is true, then the void is not a violation of the universe's rules. It is what happens when those rules are allowed to operate on terrifying scales. Gravity does not just build, it also evacuates. It pulls matter into filaments and clusters, leaving behind deserts of space where galaxies become rare. The Boötes Void is one of those deserts, a cosmic region where the universe seems to have drained itself away. But the real shock is this. When a void becomes this large, this dark, and this empty, science is not the only thing that tries to explain it. The imagination wakes up too. Some have suggested a far more disturbing possibility. What if the Boötes Void is not simply empty? What if something made it look empty? One speculative hypothesis imagines an unimaginably advanced civilization, a Type 3 Kardashev civilization, capable of harvesting energy on the scale of entire galaxies. Such a civilization, in theory, could build megastructures around stars, capture their light and hide entire regions of space from outside observers. To us, that region would not look conquered. It would look dark, a cosmic blackout, a place where the stars had simply vanished. It is a chilling idea, but it must be said clearly. There is no evidence that the Boötes Void was created by aliens. No confirmed Dyson spheres, no hidden galactic empire, no proven artificial structure. This is not the leading scientific explanation. It is a speculative possibility at the edge of imagination, a hypothesis that reveals more about our fear of the dark than about the void itself. And yet, the fact that people even consider ideas this extreme shows how unnatural the Boötes Void feels. Because when the universe leaves behind a silence this enormous, the human mind starts asking the most dangerous question of all. What if the darkness is not empty? What if something is hiding inside it? When we return to mainstream science, the explanation is colder, and in some ways more frightening. The Boötes Void probably does not reveal an alien civilization. It reveals the power of ordinary physics operating across unimaginable time. Gravity, expansion, dark matter, initial density fluctuations. The same ingredients that built galaxies also carved the empty spaces between them. And that is what makes the void so important. Cosmic voids are not useless gaps. They are laboratories. Because they contain so little matter, they allow scientists to test how gravity behaves in the weakest environments. They may help us understand dark energy. They may reveal how galaxies form when they grow up far from the crowded cities of the cosmic web. They may even help us test whether our models of the universe are complete. In dense regions, everything is noisy. Galaxies collide. Gas heats up, black holes feed, clusters distort space. But in the voids, the universe becomes quieter. The signal is cleaner. And in that silence, physics has fewer places to hide. This is why the Boötes Void matters, not because it breaks the universe, but because it exposes the universe at its most extreme. It shows us what happens when matter becomes rare, when gravity has pulled most of the visible structure away, when the cosmic web stretches so thin that light itself seems to abandon the region. When we stare into the Boötes Void, we are not looking at absolute nothing. We are looking at the architecture of absence, a place where the universe did not fail to create structure. It created emptiness, and emptiness on this scale is not simple. It is not peaceful. It is not meaningless. It is a fossil of cosmic evolution, a record of how matter moved, gathered, collapsed, and fled, a shadow cast not by an object, but by the absence of objects. The Boötes Void does not tell us that physics is broken. It tells us that physics is stranger than our instincts can handle. The universe is not a smooth ocean of galaxies. It is a web, a skeleton of light stretched across darkness, and between those bones lie enormous black chambers where almost nothing shines. The Boötes Void is one of those chambers, a cosmic dead zone, hundreds of millions of light years wide, a place where the night is deeper, the galaxies are fewer, and the silence is almost complete. So when you look up at the sky, remember this: the most terrifying places in the universe are not always the ones filled with fire. Sometimes, they are the places where almost everything is missing. Because darkness is not always empty. Sometimes darkness is structure. Sometimes absence is the message. And somewhere in the direction of Boötes, the universe has written that message across hundreds of millions of light years, a warning carved into the cosmic web. Not that our physics has failed, but that reality is far larger, colder, and lonelier than the human mind was ever built to imagine. Subscribe to Cosmos and hit the bell so you never miss what we uncover next. And if you want to keep going, watch the next video on your screen now and grab your free guidebook from the description below.